Welcome to another episode of General Geekery. It's our first episode for 2022. Hope everybody had a good Christmas.
Happy New Year.
And as always is JD. And joining us today is Yuri. JD,
why don't you be here? Thank you.
Why don't you introduce our guest a little bit more, since you know him
more
than I do?
I've been friends on Facebook with Yuri for a long time. And he started a YouTube channel where he does all these customizing type videos.
I like
and I don't between the two of you, usually when I log into YouTube, if it's not a Star Wars link or a link to something that my son usually watches on YouTube, like gamer channels, then it's usually a video by one of the two of you. So YouTube knows what I frequently watch, but Yuri's a teacher in the Netherlands, and he's a big nerd for G.I. Joe, apparently. I mean, if his shirt and that stalker sitting next to him were not an indication,
right?
I got the books on the shelf as well.
I have a copy of that book. I was looking at that book yesterday.
I wish I had gotten that book when I had the chance, and I didn't, and I regret every minute of it.
Well, I got two, actually. I got the second edition as well, which I was just...
Oh, nice.
I have the second edition downstairs. The second edition I have is autographed by the author.
Oh, nice.
Even better. I didn't. I saw the first one come out and I saw the second one come out. Why do I need these? And then now they're
just fun. They're just
exactly. Because I never looked through one until JD showed me his when I visited one time. Like, damn, this is a wealth of information. And just pisses me off that they never reprinted it or
it's funny because like they have like mark lists, like secondary market type prices that you might pay, but the newest edition of this is, let's say the third version is
19, I guess.
2018. So
18. Okay.
What's happened to the secondary market world for toys since then? The prices listed are disturbingly conservative, because like some of these vehicles
conservative as in they remain the same?
No, as in some of what he has listed as a secondary market value are they're lowball offers at this point, because things like that he has listed for like 22 to 25 at the time, maybe, but you can even figures that nobody likes or that nobody claims to like, they're not cheap anymore. Like you can't go on eBay and find even former peg warmer toys for cheap anymore.
First of all, I got a bit of a stutter, so if I talk weird, it's because I'm Dutch, first of all, and second of all, perhaps I'm just a bit looking for words and stuff like that. But
I'm not Dutch, and it takes me 25 minutes to say a sentence. So
we're all friends here. Okay, right? Yeah. No, I was going to say, here in the Netherlands, we have this eBay-like website called Marketplace, and it used to be the place where I ordered all my G.I. Joes. I did a lot of unboxing videos, mail call videos in the Facebook group, and I haven't done them for ages because I don't buy that much G.I. Joe anymore. Two reasons. I have it all, almost every figure that I want and that I can afford. I have it, but all the prices, they are crazy. I mean, I saw this just yesterday, Tiger Force tripwire, which is very common here in the Netherlands. I'm not sure how they are in the United States, but in every lot you'll find at least 2 or 3 of those. man, people ask 45 euros for that one, but that used to be a junker that you get for 2 or 5 euros.
Right.
Man, they are crazy, literally crazy.
Yeah, because the initial Tiger Force stuff here is common, very common. Duke, Tripwire, Roadblock, Lifeline, they're very common. And they always were. I remember way back in the day, I found mine at KB Toys. I found the first couple of them at KB Toys, but I remember them in stores for a long time after that. They were like the production numbers were very high on those because there were so many of those characters.
I was that either. So I mean, they hung around for a long time.
Yeah. So, but even the common stuff like Tiger Force Tripwire, and it's not really commentary on the fact that Tripwire is the absolute worst, even though he is. I just.
I'm sorry. Are you really dissing Tripwire now?
Yes, he's trash. He's absolute garbage.
He was either my second or third figure that I had when I was a kid. So I got a pretty soft spot for Tripwire. So I always got to listen to this
Me too.
About how crappy Tripwire is, and it's just like
Tripwire.
He doesn't even have a gun. He doesn't even have weapons. Okay.
I don't. You know what? I'm not worried about the lack of guns or he's just a dork. He's a dork in the comic. He's a dork on the cartoon. The figure looks like a dork. He's a dork in the different color schemes they gave him. There's one version of Tripwire
that listen and play Tripwire is just awesome.
Oh yeah, that's fine. It might actually be the best of the three.
Actually,
but really, that's not saying anything considering how much Tripwire sucks.
Okay. Well, I like him for his dorkiness. He's one of my, not my favorites, but he's so bad it almost becomes good again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You've got the bad part. I don't see where it circles back to being good.
Yeah. So I made it a mission to collect all the versions of Tripwire, and I'm not sure how much I have. I think I got 6 or 7 of them, and he grew on me. So I started to like him. So that's
you know what. There's a lot of characters when I was a kid that I had no appreciation for that as an adult I have taken
definitely.
To. I never used to like Bazooka. It's only in the last couple of years that I've eased up a little bit. I'm not a fan.
I still don't like
but I do like his Battlecore version a lot.
I like the Battlecore
version.
But there's characters like Thunder. I never cared about Thunder when I was a kid, but as an adult, I've become a big fan of that character. I don't know why. There's no reason in particular. I've taken a shine to him where there's some characters that I still just don't feel any particular way about. But yeah, even the real comments like that early stuff, like the first 5 or 6 years of the Joe line, that stuff was expensive on the secondary market, and it's kind of crazy because I looked through this book and the Star Brigade stuff was always a little bit expensive.
Yeah.
Later line release stuff.
Boy, one of the Star Brigade guys that I've been looking at recently was the version 2 Techno Viper, and holy shit, that thing's expensive.
That's partially because it came out in 94, where see the production numbers in 93 were lower than previous years, but the production numbers in 94 were far more truncated because it was the end of the line, and things like Gears and because Gears with the Technobot and the Techno Viper with his Technobot, they were released way late. Like even though the line, that one.
I like him with the gold and the purple and stuff.
I'm trying to what I'm trying to do right now is I'm going back and I'm collecting all of the specialty Vipers. The specialty Vipers to me are what makes G.I. Joe. I mean, my favorite all-time character, of course, is Torpedo, because it was the first figure I ever had. But like my all-time favorite figures is kind of tied from Night Viper and Alley Viper. Just a huge fan of the specialty Vipers, and that's mostly what I customize as well as specialty Vipers. And I'm working on a lot of female specialty Vipers this past year, and so I'm going back and getting all of the specialty Vipers right now, and I'm kind of in the later years. Right now, the 93, 94 stuff's the stuff I'm going after, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know there was a version 2 of the Techno Viper. And then I started looking at the price on it. Holy shit.
Well, the Techno Viper and Gears were released late in the line. Like the line was canceled by the time them and their little spacewalkers came out. So the production numbers are low on those anyways. But because Brian just got the Cyber Viper and the Mega Viper, and those are premium price figures now. Like you can't get those for cheap.
No.
But again, the 93 stuff was, especially the subsets, they were produced in slightly lower numbers, but that doesn't explain where the common stuff from 87, 88, 89, even it's crazy expensive now. Like, and army builders.
Oh, I was just gonna say army builders.
Don't even try.
If
I'm so glad that I got into the G.I. Joe bandwagon just in time, just before things really got crazy. And I think I got, my Vodder pile, so just body parts. I think I got 10 kilos of old plastic taken apart. Yeah, that's about 18 pounds of old plastic taken apart and sorted out and put in boxes, so I can use
amazing
stuff for my customs. But if I've started just 3 years later, I wouldn't be able to have such a pile, because it wouldn't be, it's priceless. And also I always said, because the plastic is so old, I just refuse to sacrifice figures with any collector's value. So I just use figures that are discolored or had broken parts on it or stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing for
junkers. Yeah,
some of my custom.
I got this huge pile.
Yeah, some of my custom specialty Vipers. You know, I try and give some of my guys like the vintage gear. So I'll if I don't have the piece, I'll get on, you know, the Facebook groups and say I need a. I think the one that I got recently was the backpack for the Toxo Viper 2 version 2, and I said I need a couple, you know, Toxo Viper version 2 backpacks. And I want, you know, just beaters, just beat up. I need nothing collectible because it's going to go for a custom, you know. So, and I'm doing a bridge custom, so I wanted the little football melee weapon that he came with, and I said I need a beater or a reproduction of it, because I don't want to destroy a collectible one. Whereas 2 years ago, I wouldn't have cared. I'd have just like, I'd buy a cheap fridge figure off of eBay and just set the figure aside and give it to somebody, and then just use the weapon. But now I'm specifically going for reproduction and beater stuff, because I don't want to destroy stuff that I'd want in my collection if I was somebody else.
Well, and some of the old stuff, because of the plastic it's made out of, is brittle, and you gotta be careful with it. A lot of the especially like the straight arm original 13 guys, don't even look at them. If you look at them too hard, their thumbs will snap.
I have a version of mine snake eyes that I just like look at them from across the room.
Yeah, don't get close, don't breathe on it.
Just like
Certainly,
that, so, yeah.
Certainly don't try to put any accessories near it because it will crumble.
But I had the other day a big problem with putting stands on those little hole in their feet.
Oh, I've seen that recently.
Wrong.
Yeah.
The wrong stand, the heel will just break, will shatter.
I've not had that problem myself, but I've seen a lot of people do that. You know, there's somebody that makes stands right now, and I don't know his name, but you can get it on Facebook. He makes stands specifically that are almost like conical, so they taper off the top so they don't break heels.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's smart. That's smart.
Yeah. Some of the some of the early stuff. See, I don't buy a lot with the vehicles, but Brian does, and he does these restoration videos where he'll get these vehicles that are not in great shape, but there's some that he's avoided because he doesn't want to restore them and then kill them in the process because the plastic that they're made out of. But then, I mean, to be fair, when these things were manufactured 40 years ago, nobody thought that there would still be a market for this stuff, that people would still be looking for this stuff.
Especially not to the degree that it is still.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's, you know, a lot of these things were designed, they were, you know, it was just part of somebody's job. They figured they're toys, their kids are going to play with them. And then 10 years from now, nobody will remember what this stuff is. Well, who would have
make a quick buck?
Exactly. And so now, I mean, it's a little strange because all this stuff that used to be super common, everybody wants it now. Like that Cobra jetpack, nobody wanted that thing. Now they're expensive. There was a custom exchange that Brian and I did a few months ago where where I made a night vulture and I need a clog lighter for him. Well, I made the discovery that the clog lighter, both the vintage and the newer versions, are all disgustingly priced.
And that blows me away.
Because I remember the rise of Cobra repaint of the clog lighter with the Strato Viper repaint. I remember seeing those clearanced at Target in 2009. Nobody wanted them. The snake armor repaint that they did for Rise of Cobra, it was clearanced. And
it's funny you should say that, because I was just thinking of the Arctic Destro from the Pursuit of Cobra line. Remember how that just like peg warmed and peg warmed and peg warmed?
Oh yeah. There
was one winter that I went into the Walmart where I lived, and there were 8 or 10 of them on the peg. I bought them all and I donated them all to Toys for Tots, the charity to give kids like homeless kids toys. And I'm like, you know, I kind of hope these go to some kid doesn't open it, just hangs on to it, because maybe it'll be worth something someday. Go to eBay and look at how much an Arctic Destro from Pursuit of Cobra goes for. It's stupid money.
Yeah. I remember in 2010.
And then you guys are fortunate that you even have stores that even sell these toys, because in Europe, we don't have them anymore. I think Toys R Us, it gone bankrupt or something. It isn't here anymore. And
here either.
But you got stuff like Walmart and all these other places where you can buy these stores. Here in Europe, we don't have those anymore. We have to import them from the United States, or we have to buy everything from the secondhand market, where everyone wants to take a cut on it, which I do understand, but it makes things crazily expensive. Also the new ones, I got a few of the classifieds as well. I'm not a big fan per se, but I like the figures enough for now to buy them. But also those, man, those are so expensive because
so the classified stuff is not available in Europe.
Sorry?
So the classified stuff's not actually sold in Europe?
Not in stores, no.
Wow.
No, just online.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize that they had to be I kind of, yeah, the classified stuff. Well,
everything.
But even here, the classified, it's available if you can find it.
Yeah.
I happen to live in an area that's particularly bad with stocking that stuff. Like,
So do I.
There's a lot of the classified stuff, Major Blood, Snake Eyes. I've never seen them in the store. As far as classified availability is so bad here. I feel like I live in Europe because I can't get this stuff without ordering it.
Right.
And the only common classified stuff I've seen is the Snake Eyes movie stuff, and that's really only in the last 2 months.
Yeah,
it started showing up in any numbers. Because when those were first released, and I got my pre-orders from like Amazon, I didn't see them in stores. I just figured that they weren't. And even now, it's just Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. Like the other characters, I don't see them at all.
I just started seeing the female characters from the movie. Well, the Baroness I saw a couple months ago, and then the Scarlet and the who's the other gal from the movie?
Jinx?
No.
She was for all intents and purposes, yes, she was Jinx. She just wasn't.
I didn't see the movie, so
I can't remember what the character's name was. I like the character.
Began with that's all I know.
But
I started seeing those two, and I didn't think I was gonna see the Scarlet in the store, so I got her off Amazon. They had her on sale for $11 the other day.
I got them all from Amazon, and other than Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, I haven't seen them in the store. I laugh because things like the Alley Viper and the Bat, which I don't have any particular interest in buying, I didn't pre-order them. I'm seeing pictures now of people posting where they're on the shelves in their stores, and I'm like, I don't care what they do to the production numbers. I am never going to see that stuff in a store.
No, I don't think so either. There was a time that the O-ring figures they were sold here in the Netherlands, but then that was like 30 years ago when I was a kid. I remember this one thing, this one time, and it's imprinted in my brains that I was allowed to buy one figure, and I could choose between two of them. And well, that was Sub-Zero was one of them, with all the cool accessories, with the blade launcher and the snowshoes and stuff like that. And well, the other one, well, it had some nice accessories as well, but I thought it was a bit strange to be in tiger camo and have skis and stuff like that.
Tiger Force Blizzard?
Ski in the desert. Fuck it. I'm just going. Oh, am I allowed to
oh yeah, you can swear.
Yes. So we don't give a fuck. Who cares?
I just go for Sub-Zero. And well, you guessed it. It was the EU exclusive Tiger Force Blizzard, which I passed up to buy Sub-Zero. Now, of course, but well, hindsight, I smacked myself in the face for choosing Sub-Zero over Tiger Force Blizzard. But hey.
Well, I was gonna say, like, okay, you had Sub-Zero, so I'm gonna guess you got the rest of the 1990 lineup, right?
I think I have them all. Yeah.
So I have to imagine that if you saw them in the store, they were fairly common. I remember the 1990 lineup here being wherever I was living at the time, whatever state I was living in, I did see a lot of them in a store. I did see a lot of the 1990 figures in the store, but like those Tiger Force figures, Psych Out, Sneak Peek, Blizzard, we didn't know those existed until we had yojo.com.
Right.
And I remember when I made that discovery and I saw Tiger Force Blizzard, I said, wow, he's really yellow.
He is.
And
coming from Colorado,
and with this tiger tie,
great laugh.
But there is
crazily expensive now as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure they're expensive now because like they're really popular figures.
Yeah, and
because yeah, so yeah, I was gonna ask, were they common back then? Or were they or did you only see Blizzard that one time and that's why you didn't get him at the time?
No, they what as far as I remember, all those EU exclusive figures, they were quite common here. Well, because we are Europe, of course, and they even made file cards, especially for the Netherlands, for most of the figures. So there was quite a Dutch market for for these figures, and Belgium and France as well. So well, yeah. So as far as I remember, they were quite common, all the Tiger Force figures that we had here. That's why when people just at this attic they find a box with their old GI Joes and they put them on the marketplace or eBay, well, they get sold like that because there's, well, most of the times there is a Tiger for Tunnel Red or in parts or a Blizzard or something like that in it. And I also understood that Super Trooper is also very wanted in the United States. And they're very common here as well. So there is this bit of a,
because
the Super Trooper was mail away here, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a mail away here. And like you had to save the flag points and send in the shipping and handling. Super Trooper, he had a showcase issue in the Action Force comic. Like I've only got 2 issues of the Action Force comic that I got from a local comic shop, and one of them has Super Trooper on the cover. He's got this chrome riot shield, but he's also got like a chrome rocket launcher that was not included with the figure. But I'm like, he must have been a popular character over in Europe to have a showcase in the comic because he never appeared in the US comic. Larry Hama apparently didn't have any use for Paul Latimer, the army.
He used to be a mail away as well here.
Was it?
He was never
in
stores, but he's just very, very common. I mean, I see a lot of lots coming by with 3 or 4 complete Super Troopers in them. Yeah.
Now, did you all get the repaint of Super Trooper called Rapid Fire?
I don't think that they were sold in store here because I know of one toy store called Bart Smith, which doesn't exist anymore. That's where I used to buy them as a kid. And later, so in the 90s, 94, 95, I was 14, 15. So I lost all interest in toys. So I didn't notice them then.
Like most normal kids did, not me, but most normal kids.
Most normal kids. So, but I do have Rapid Fire, of course, but I don't think it was sold here because
because Rapid Fire was sold here with a VHS tape.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was an episode of the Geek cartoon.
Remember it, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it was I think the episode was called Night of the Creeper, and it was Night Creepers and the Night Creeper leader, and they were stealing some kind of Egyptian artifact from a museum that was not nearly as heavily guarded as it should have been. But I remember always finding it really weird that particular episode of the cartoon,
Revenge of the Pharaohs.
Oh, Revenge of the, okay, all right. Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, I think Night of the Creeper was an earlier Sunbow episode.
Yeah.
But like Rapid Fire was never included in the cartoon. So here's a figure that's a neon repaint of the Super Trooper, packaged with a VHS tape with an episode of the show that he wasn't involved in. Cool. And he was sold in stores, and Rapid Fire for a long time was real common because without he was, I remember a lot of him on eBay without the tapes, But that doesn't really surprise me because at some point people stopped having VCRs. But I was just wondering if Rapid Fire was available over there, or if because I remember a friend of mine got Rapid Fire because he had never gotten the Super Trooper. He had never mailed away for it. And he just used Rapid Fire as Super Trooper because he wanted that character. And we didn't know who Rapid Fire was because he didn't exist until the 12-inch line came out in like 1993, where Rapid Fire got a 12-inch figure. Nobody cared about Rapid Fire. His file name is Robbie London. He's named after the executive at the Deke Animations Company that was creating the G.I. Joe cartoons of the era. But we never did get a proper new version of Rapid Fire. We just had the 12-inch version. It was all urban camouflage. It was really friggin' cool. You all had the Tiger Force figures. Interesting about Blizzard though, the one notable thing, his file name is Von Trapp. He's named after the family from The Sound of Music. So he was born in the Swiss Alps. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But as I understand it, the city he was born in is actually not in it's listed in Germany, I think, but he was actually, or is it Austria? Yeah. The city they listed him in is in the wrong country.
It didn't exist probably when that came out.
That's possible. Because you're right. Now that I think about it, that was a very different time in the world, and the map looked very, very different than it does now.
Austria didn't in the
80s. No, Austria is very, very old indeed, but
it wasn't on a map, is what I mean. Politically.
But the fact is that so unlike the United States of America, there's no such thing as a United States of Europe. When I jump into my car and I drive for 6 hours, I've crossed 3 different countries with their own coin and their own language and their own food and culture and stuff like that before we got the euro, of course.
Well, Brian knows he's been deployed all over Europe. He's a remote medic.
Okay,
so he's been all over Europe.
So that's but I find it what I notice is that many Americans who don't have that experience find that very hard to understand, that it's separate countries. No, I get it. No, I get it. You've been there, of course. So
the only continent he hasn't been to is Antarctica.
Yeah.
And I've never left the United States unless, I mean, if you want to get technical, I've been to Canada, but it's an extension of the US, so it doesn't really count. Not the part I've been to anyways. I mean, Lower Ontario, Canada is basically an extension of the US. So I've never done any actual traveling abroad, but it's interesting because Europe had a lot of exclusive toys, and it just sucks that Brian was there 30 years too late to get most of them.
When I was in Paris, waiting for my visa to go to Africa, I stayed with one of our previous guests, Julian, and he took me to a toy store, and they had all of the action, like Red Skull stuff. I mean, they had the Robo ones, and they had the whole line of figures, and I just sat there and looked at them all because I'd never seen them in person before. Knew they existed, had seen them on the internet, but like JD said, growing up, it's like we didn't know this stuff existed. I didn't know the Robo Skull was a thing until I got a buddy that lives in London, and he customizes some. I'm like, what the hell is that? Where did you get that? It's like it just none of us knew this stuff existed until the internet went.
That's well, it's great for that, of course, but stuff like Night Force. We didn't have that, and many other.
Well, Night Force was a weird case because Night Force in the US
Night Force was a thing either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Night Force was a Toys R Us exclusive here in the US because Toys R Us wanted figures that were exclusive and they had to be recently released. Which is why the initial 1988 lineup is all figures from 1987, and then the 1989 lineup is all figures from 1988 because they didn't want any older figures included. But they wanted a unified theme, and they didn't. They gave Hasbro do what you want with it. Well, and that is the reason why, even though they demanded recent figures got repainted in the Night Force colors, there was nothing about the vehicles. So the vehicles, Hasbro deliberately went with a lot of varied molds that they hadn't used in a long time because they could, which is why, because the Moray only got one release here as the Cobra vehicle, which is why they used it for Night Force. The Sky Striker hadn't been in stores for years. The Maggot Tank was a recent release, but if you look at the lineup, the Triple T and the Maggot Tank were the only recent vehicle releases. But they were, I remember having, I had I had all of the first year of Night Force figures and most of the second year because my grandparents got them for me. One Christmas, I opened the box and all of the first series of Night Force figures were in there. Now, I only had one of the vehicles. It was a goddamn shark. It's stupid ass shark that sucks in every color scheme it's ever been available in.
Nope.
So all the cool Night Force vehicles, I didn't have any of those.
I didn't know they
later on.
We didn't have Toys R Us here.
See, Toys R Us was here, and we had KB here.
We had KB.
But my grandparents, well, when I would come to visit, I always wanted to go to the stores and buy more G.I. Joe. That's all I ever bought. I had other toys, but I swear to God, if I went to the store with my grandparents, there was no other toy line. As far as I was concerned, it was all G.I. Joe. So things like Night Force, but had my grandparents not bought them for me, I would not have known they existed either, because all the moving around that we did growing up, because my dad was in the Army, so we moved every couple of years, but all the places we ever moved to, almost none of those places had Toys R Us. So the one here that my grandparents bought Night Force at, those were the only access that I had to them, because most of the other states we lived in, they had a lot of local stores, but they didn't have Toys R Us. So really, to be fair, Night Force here is kind of obscure too.
Can I ask you something? Because there is one thing that I never understood and that I never will understand, something about the Night Force, and it considers Tunnel Rat. Because if you look at the first version of Tunnel Rat, he has this cool camo stripes on his arms and on his face, and the Tiger Force version has that as well. And then they make a version, the one true version, which you would expect camo on, the Night Force, and that one version doesn't have any camo stripes. Where the fuck is that?
That's a good question that
it's so strange to me, because I made this version
before.
I've never stopped to consider that he was the one version that should have had the camo stripes and he didn't, and nobody else did either. Nobody else did.
No, check it out, because it is very strange. And I did this custom figure for a friend of mine. He wanted this Night Force version, and I told him, "Do you want me to make a copy?" Which I don't like to do. I make my own, or would you give me some creative freedom with that? And he chose the latter, of course. so I added these camo stripes to the Night Force C version. I chose common, or so I chose this color scheme that was very close to the Night Force version, and it looks epic with those camo stripes. I mean, I really don't get why he didn't have it, because it looks freaking epic.
Yeah. Now I want to see the vintage Night Force Tunnel Rat with the stripes. In fact, for that matter, I want to see Repeater and Muskrat with the stripes.
Okay, with the stripes as well.
Because because all the Rangers, it would have made perfect sense if they had the paint makeup on.
You know, that's an interesting idea that you said that, because I have a Repeater custom going, and I'm stalled out on it because I don't want to paint the like Tetris camo on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about maybe I'll do a Night Force.
Do a Night Force version,
because I've got it built. I've got it built, but and I've got the base coats on, but I don't want to paint the. I don't want to paint. I don't
blame you.
Yeah, I don't want to paint the camouflage on it. So
no, I get it.
Night Force. Let me look at that Night Force Repeater.
Yeah. What I did with a couple of customs as well is that I combined the two themes. So I made Night Tigers. So just Tigers striped camo, but then with dark gray and black, or gray and dark brown, stuff like that. It's also a very nice concept, if you ask me. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea, because the Euro Tiger Force stuff, as fascinating as I find it, I also find them distracting, because as if Tiger Force here wasn't obnoxious enough, they went and they somehow made the Euro figures even brighter. I mean, and I'm not really bad mouthing Tiger Force, because some of them, like Duke, I actually prefer the Tiger Force color scheme for Duke over his original color scheme.
Yeah, I
don't know why.
I like. Oh, I've got it. Ooh, now I've got a really good idea.
What?
Tell me.
Well, see, I card all my customs. So all the figures you see on the wall are my customs.
Yeah.
I have not done like a. So all the Night Force stuff came 2 figures on a card. I've not done a card like that. So I'm thinking maybe I'll do a Night Force Lightfoot and a Night Force Repeater and make a custom card that has both of them on it.
Oh,
nice.
Oh, you're right. You've never done a 2-pack like that, a custom card.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's interesting. And see, Lightfoot's a funny character, because I had both figures when I was a kid. I never remember him. He is the least. I swear.
I don't know why, but I love my Lightfoot.
Well, no, see, I loved him when I was a kid. I had him, but like as an adult, he's one of those characters that I simply always forget is there until I see a picture of it. And I'm like, oh yeah, Lightfoot. He's really overlooked. And then I go right back to forgetting all about him.
Okay.
That's sold. That's a great idea. See, this is why we do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
It's fun. It's like, you know, I could paint the camo on there. It probably would come out okay. But then it's like, the Repeater, Night Force Repeater is kind of a cheesy, easy way out. But I've been wanting to do a Light Force. I told JD I was planning on doing a Light Force custom, or a Light Force custom, and I said I was probably going to do the Night Force scheme because I liked it better, and I haven't ever done a Night Force custom. And then I'm like, you know what? I haven't done like a double carded figure yet, so that's totally
nice.
So
that is a really good idea.
But but do you only do customs where you you paint them close to the original, or you,
oh hell no, he's done some he's done some toys that go
crazy things.
He's done some figures that go way off book.
I thought so already. So
Brian, show
when you
off,
asked me for the podcast.
What's that? JD, what?
Oh, show off sneak peek. I love that. I love that custom. Sorry, Yuri, what were you saying?
I was just because when you asked me for the podcast, I did of course watched quite a couple of your videos, so that's why I was like, okay, but he did different stuff, so that's why I was a bit surprised that he didn't want to paint the Tetris camo, because if you don't want to paint it, then just don't paint it. I mean, simple as that. You have to make some noise as well, Brian. Then come a big
So that's my sneak peek. It's a big deviation from the original figure.
It's a very nice one. So I'm working on this sneak. I had the idea for a sneak peek for over a year, and I started making it, but I have to make his accessories, in where I also gave him an update. I did some sponge on camo, but I wanted to give him a drone instead of this.
That's what I did.
Yeah. So I bought this drone from Marauders Inc., just a small plane, and well, I have to do the paint on that one as well, and then it's quite done actually. But yeah, well, it's somewhere in a drawer as well, in mind for me, waiting to be finished. But I like playing with that ideas, the what if scenarios, or just be totally creative with the figures that I make. There's that. Just
so a lot. Yeah, sometimes I'll definitely go off book and do something creative, but sometimes some things are so iconic. I want just like this one or two iconic pieces in my custom to clearly identify it as a particular figure. And I kind of think that if I was going to do repeater in the traditional colors, that the Tetris camo is one of those iconic things that was not going to skip.
No.
So that's
I get that. I get that.
And I gotta be in the mood to paint camo. I mean, it's just like sometimes I just don't. If I'm not in the mood to paint camo, it doesn't come out well.
Yeah. I get that. Sorry, I'm starting. I get that totally, and it's quite frustrating as well if something like that then just doesn't work the way you want to, and that's why I quit forcing myself, and I just let my hand do the work, and I let the figure take me where it leads me. And well, then the best thing about making a custom is putting all the parts together for the first time, and then that looks cool. It's way up or way different than I imagined it when I started it, but it looks great now. Yeah,
that is how I build all of my customs that are pre-existing characters.
Yeah,
is I just start. I find a part, and then I find another part, and my brain decides what figure I'm going to make, and then I find it piece by piece, and I dig through everything. And if sometimes I love Frankensteining different things together that don't belong, like, and adapting the parts to fit different toy lines. I love doing that stuff. But all of my figures, they all start off as a blank canvas, and I let the figure take me where it's gonna go.
I'm completely the opposite of JD. When I start a figure, it's like, okay, I have this idea. I know what parts I need to what specific parts I need to do that I need to make my idea come to realization. Then I primer it, and when I paint it, I know exactly what I want to do to paint it. I mean, I have it all planned in my head before I even get started. That's the only organizational thing that I have going for me at all.
Oh wow! And that's so funny because I am right right between, in the middle of those two approaches. I begin from a concept, but most customs that I make are commissions. So someone contacts me and I like this figure, and then this theme. So then I have this concept, and then I just start Googling, because, well, most of the time I don't even know the character, because, well, I watched the cartoons as a kid, but I didn't read the comics and stuff like that. So I'm not into the lore of G.I. Joes. So many characters I don't know. So I start with a theme and I go search, and then piece by piece I get the parts that I want to use, or I just have some parts they don't fit. I got my my micro Dremel to make it fit, and yeah, well, I got green stuff to add stuff to it. I have blue stuff to make molds out of different parts, so I can add details to stuff like that. So yeah, well, it's on the way from a set theme that I came up with first. So yeah, so
I recently did a commission. The guy sent me some parts as kind of payment. He's like, make me a Mandalorian figure. I'm like, yeah, okay, you know, what
yeah,
you know, how do you want him to look? You know, what colors do you want him to be in? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like,
just do it.
Okay. I mean, that was one of the hardest commissions I've ever had to do, because it's like I've done another Mandalorian custom for commission for someone before, and he's like, this is how because he cosplays this particular character. He says, this is the part that I use in my he wanted a figure of himself, and he's like, these are the colors that the armor is, this is how, you know, the parts that I have, this is how it looks. I'm like, not a problem, I'll have it done in a few days.
Is he part of the Mandalorian Mercs cosplay group? Like, he's a member of the Mandalorian Mercs?
I don't know. I did this like 5 or 6 years ago.
Just wondering.
I haven't talked to him.
I don't like those. I don't like those types of commissions. When when someone contacts me and say, okay, I want this figure, and I want his pants to be this color, and his torso to be this color, and his head to be this color. Okay, dude, you got a clear idea of what you want. Go paint it yourself. I mean, if you want something from me, then let me thinking and let me decide what I think is best. Just give me carte blanche, and I'll make you custom accessories as well and stuff like that. Those are the commissions that are most fun to do for me, and which also keeps me motivated to do it, actually. Then
that's what I had to do with this Mandalorian for this guy. Is like, JD said, I just started putting stuff together, and then it just like, and then primered it, and he's like, I'm like, what colors? He's like, I don't know, gray and green maybe. I'm like, what? Okay, that really narrows it down. So I just went with this color scheme, and I sent it to him, and he's like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. You know, he's like, it's far and above, far and beyond what I expected. This is, you know, I got like messages for the next couple of days about how awesome he thought it was, because it wasn't what he expected. Well, so it's rewarding, but it's really
great.
That's the hardest thing for me, because I couldn't. Like, I need a little more direction.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's as little direction as possible, and I'm the happiest. And then let me decide and find, and it'll be fine. Yeah, it's cool.
I haven't done a lot of commissions in my time, but when I have, it always tends to be somebody that want a specific character or a specific color scheme, but they let me just sort of go with it and make it up as I go, which is good, because I don't know if I could do a commission from somebody that had a very specific idea of every aspect of it. I don't think I could do it.
No.
I think it would drive my creativity nuts. It's how I know for a fact that even if I could draw, I could never be a tattoo artist, because there's plenty of clients that are open-ended and they'll just pick something off the wall and say, do that.
Yeah.
And then, but you'd have just as many clients that would have such a specific idea in their head of what this tattoo had to look like.
Yeah.
That I don't think I could handle such a rigid game plan.
Yeah.
And then the idea that this thing is on this person permanently forever, and I'm going to be their mortal enemy if I screw it up.
Yeah.
I couldn't. There's no way.
That
pressure.
I did a commission last year. Okay, not last year now. It was 2020. A buddy of mine I worked with in Africa, he's like, I want one of the stormtrooper death troopers, not the ones from Rogue One, but like the zombie trooper, the zombie stormtrooper.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I'm like, he's like, I want it kind of weathered armored and kind of, how they look in the art. And I'm like, that's not a problem. I got a recipe in mind already. I know how I want to paint it. I do all the stuff. I did it, send it to him, and he's like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. So I mean, for me,
that's cool.
Yeah, for me, that's like, it's like, okay, you know exactly what you want. I'm like, that I can do. I can make it awesome.
Well,
well, and that's it, and that's what I like about doing the commissions. I haven't had a full figure commission for over a year now, but last year I didn't even build that many commissions because, as JD knows, I'm more into painting Warhammer right now. I don't play the game. It's just for painting.
Sure.
But I did 2 customs last year. So when I heard you say, Brian, in your previous show that you were close to making 52 customs just last year, I was like, okay, I have made 52 customs in total since I started customizing. But I did do a lot of hats. People approach me via Instagram if I can make custom hats for them. So I did a bunch of those last year.
Firstly, customs are customs, and I don't care what it is. Secondly, I've been doing this. I've been customizing on and off since I was a teenager, and I've made well over 52 customs. I've probably done hundreds of customs. Less than 50 of them are any good. So I less than 50 of them, or maybe more than 50, but less than 100 of them have ever been posted online. I have a terrible habit of I make a custom and then I either forget about it or I just don't feel like it.
I'm getting pretty close to having. So it starts. Let's see, those aren't. So it starts, and then it goes all the way back around.
Yeah, it looks great. Do you keep all your customs?
I do. I mostly. That's a box set, 15 figure box set right there that I made.
Wow.
And I usually, not all the time, but most of the time I get an offer to buy any commission or any figure that I've posted. I'm like, sorry, no, this one's not for sale. And I don't.
Okay. Yeah. Well, is this for me? For me, it is. I got some customs which I really like, but most of the customs, as soon as I got the pictures of it for my socials and for my diary and stuff like that, I'm satisfied. I mean, if someone wants to buy it, then it's okay. I did some customs which are really dear to me, but most customs, they stand in my cabinet and I look at them. But if someone offers a nice amount and they want to buy it, oh well, sure. I mean, take it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I have a real hard time
with making it. You mean? So that's That's it's more for me about the process and than the figure per se. So yeah, it's a different
I have
approach.
a real hard time letting go of my stuff. I don't know why, but I do.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, Brian will make a custom that well, okay. He made a I sent him a HISS driver. He needed a HISS driver, so I sent him a HISS driver. I had an extra one. I have like 14 HISS drivers. I had an extra one. But he painted this thing in these ridiculously obnoxious, gorgeous colors. And he put it on a card and he sent it to me. I didn't know he was making it for me. He sent it to me.
Yeah, that's great.
So I opened up a package and it had the septic tank driver Rip It in there. Well,
cool.
All right. There's two aspects to that joke. First of all, I'm Rip It's biggest fanboy. Ever since the 2001 figure came out, I've loved that character. He has a fan base of like me and 3 other people, and I'm definitely a bigger fan than those other 3 people because I'm the only person that's made like 5 different customs of Rip It. This is the first time I've got a Rip It custom that I didn't make.
Yeah.
And I opened up the box and I'm like, you know, he even put a note on the back of it, and I kept a note that said, "You didn't think I was making this for myself, did you?" Well,
nice.
And then he said, "Look at it, and it's the HISS driver that you sent me." And I looked, and I could tell because when I sent it to him, I had changed the hands out because I don't like the HISS driver hands because they're this. He uses the same mold as Flash almost, and the hands are like this. They're small and they're tiny and they're like splayed out like this. And I'm like, I don't understand. So I put some other hands from something else on it, and I looked. I'm like, oh, sure enough, it's got the wrong hands on it because
very
that's
nice.
how I did it.
Very nice, very nice. One of the 2 customs that the entire figure customs that I did last year was as a surprise as well for a friend of mine who invited me for his birthday. And I know him for years, but just from Facebook and WhatsApp and from the GI Joes. We never met in person, and we were between lockdowns, and he organized this small party for his birthday. And I knew he is a huge Major Blood fan, and he really liked the classified for Major Blood. So I made an O-ring version of the classified version, Major Blood, for him.
Oh, really?
Wait a minute! I never saw this. Did you post it?
Yeah, I posted. Yeah,
I didn't see that. I missed that entirely. Well, now
I didn't see it. You know, I asked JD to send me a link to where you post your stuff, and he's like, I can't find it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Facebook, sometimes there's a lot of things that I miss, and I've only really just started using Instagram recently, so I'm still trying to figure out
I post everything on my Instagram, and that's linked to my Facebook as well because
I'm wondering if I follow you on Instagram, if I'll see your customs more than I do on Facebook.
Yeah, and I don't use my Instagram.
Yeah, I probably will. I never even thought about that. Yeah, I've only been using Instagram for a couple months now. And I've only been posting customs of mine on Instagram. I'll usually post them on Facebook. And then a few days later, I'll remember that Instagram's a thing, and I'll go post them on Instagram.
I had to get used to it as well, but now I am a bit used to it. And most of the pictures I post on my Instagram, and then it's linked to my my Stevie's Customs Facebook account as well.
But what's your Instagram like? How do I find you on here?
Yeah,
it's Stevie's, and then what's it called? The logo.
Oh, there we go. Stevie's Customs, right there.
Yeah, of course. It's just like that.
And don't worry, folks. If you're wanting
this
to,
is my. This is the Major Blood that I made for him.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, God, that's amazing.
And don't worry, folks. If you look in the show notes, I will have a link to Yuri's Facebook and Instagram in the show notes, so you don't have to hunt it down for yourself because JD was
cool.
do it himself.
Here's here's something that
put in my YouTube as well, of course. So,
yeah, your YouTube, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, because when I told Brian you were going to be on the show, the first thing I did was link him to the YouTube so he could check out your videos. Well, all right, here's something that Yuri and I have in common. We both each just started airbrushing, but there's something Brian and Yuri have in common. They like using the airbrush, and it's the devil as far as I'm concerned. I hate it with a fiery passion, and I literally can't even with the airbrush anymore.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that because I just released, well, I think 3 hours ago, my latest.
You just put an airbrush video up. I didn't get
my first experiences with the airbrush because I thought I was searching for how to use an airbrush, and there's all these airbrush pros videos. Oh, you should do this, you should do that, but there wasn't a video. There wasn't a video about someone just firing it up and just screwing around and making mistakes. So I thought that's the video that I'm going to make. I'll make the videos that I missed when I began as a customizer. Just the how do you do stuff, the small things and stuff like that, which are also fun to look at the videos. At least the things that I think are fun to look at, which are very common in the Warhammer community. There are a lot of YouTubers that make a lot of videos with also some entertainment value. So that's why I started the YouTube channel, for making those videos. And well, you said I'm a teacher, so I have a very busy job. I have this is not my only hobby as well. I got a lot of hobbies, and it takes a lot of time to make a video. So that's why I don't upload that much, because so I want to put my time and energy in it and make fun videos. But yeah, well,
I'm definitely gonna watch a bunch. Yeah, he sent me the link to the YouTube page. I'm like, ooh, I want to watch. Ooh, I want to watch. Ooh, so yes, I subscribed to your channel. So don't worry.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
A lot of those videos.
And don't be afraid that there are some plans. Well, there's about a year ago, I did this change in style with the colorful background and some better camera and sound work and stuff like that. And I'm planning on doing some G.I. Joe videos soon as well. I'm making a video about how to do a lower arm transplant on the swivel arm.
I've done that. I hate it, but I've done that. That's a nightmare. Maybe your video will make me want to try it again.
Yeah. Well,
maybe you should watch his airbrush video and try it.
I got a lot of.
I watched his airbrush videos. The airbrush still sucks balls. I hate it.
No, it doesn't. It's the best thing ever. Airbrush is the best thing ever.
Okay. No, here's the thing.
I still have to learn how to use it, but
I don't know how to use it.
Here's the problem. Here's where I am with the airbrush. It clogs after every time I use it. I clear the clog, usually. I don't care. You know what? Here's the thing. Whatever the reasoning for it is, I don't care. Because honestly, I got to a point where I found it just to be a lot more trouble than it was worth. And I stopped. I'm like, you know what? I don't, because I wasn't getting the results from it that I felt was necessary to keep jumping through those hoops. I don't like it. I don't.
But did you get those? Did you get that satisfaction the first few times you used a normal brush? Because
not really.
No, of course not.
Thank you.
Every tool has a learning curve. Every new tool.
No, I tried to tell him that.
You have to master it. And you have to put time in it.
No, I know there's a learning curve, but here's the thing.
It's very steep on the airbrush. I keep telling them that.
It is.
I don't know. You know what?
Fourth time I used it and I painted this. I mean, it's not perfect, but I freaking love if I had to do this
Oh,
with
I
a
know,
brush,
like,
it would taken me 15 hours. It was 40 minutes.
yeah, this took 10
No.
minutes to paint.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
here's the thing.
Ridiculous.
It's not about the results for me. Even
Yeah.
if I found it enjoyable to use it, I
Yeah.
really wouldn't care if I was
Yeah.
doing sucktastic work with it.
I'm not even
Yeah.
talking about the sarcastic work. I'm talking about the time saving. I'm not doing fancy
Yeah.
shit with it. I'm saving
No.
hours of painting by not painting by
I-
hand.
No, and I understand
Yeah,
that
it
too.
is.
But my thing with it is the amount of maintenance it takes, the amount of time I spend trying to clean it and unplug it. That's the time for me
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not worth it.
That's
I would
because you
rather-
haven't
I
gotten
get
to
it.
the point to know
But-
how to get your paint right, so it doesn't do that. There is a learning curve to
And
that.
I don't
And-
want to. I don't want
Yeah,
to.
yeah. Okay. So that's
It gets to the point where for me, really, really tedious things like like cleaning, like deep cleaning something like this for me
Yeah.
it's more frustrating for me than it is to just take 56 hours to paint something because I only paint
Again,
every
that's
other day.
because you haven't
Then it
reached
is
to the point where it doesn't take that long. It takes me 2 minutes to clean my airbrush.
Yeah, but-
yeah.
Yeah,
Me
but
too.
that
Me
thing,
too. And so you
it's
have
just a learning curve to get to that point.
Yeah, and you watched my video, JD, and and in the video I linked to this video of Vince Venturella, a video of his that's called "How to Clean Your Airbrush," and he also shows how you can switch between your paints and how to avoid clogging. And well, you've seen the video and you noticed first time I used it, after 3 minutes, I got a clog. And I was like, okay, here we go. This is what I was afraid of. And well, the fourth time I used it, I just showing you the T-Rex, I was like 45 minutes or 50 minutes. I didn't have one clog just by changing one small thing, how I changed between paints within the session. So, but hey, no one's forcing you, and so if you don't like it, feel free. But I would hate to see it that you would give up on such a great tool for, in my eyes, the wrong reason. Because
Thank you. I 100% agree with Yuri.
It's a huge time saver. It is, yeah.
Yes.
You know what? I might go back to it someday, but right now
Take your time.
I'm
Take your
so
time for that.
no.
But
Just, right now, I'm so
if you just
actively-
use it for, but if you just use it for priming, for instance, because well, so I'm not sure how the weather's at your place, but here in the Netherlands, if I had to wait for the weather conditions for me to take out a rattle can and prime my stuff outside, I have, I think 5 weeks per year that I'm able to.
I've got a spray can and I use it in the basement. I spray the primer and I just leave it down there for it to dry.
Okay.
But I just, one of those things, I may go back to it at some point.
Yeah.
But I'm not past the point where I'm not over my initial irritation with it yet. And until I am,
then
I'm not
don't do it.
No. I can't. I'm not a person. I can't force myself to do something.
No.
If I get mad at something for long enough, and if I get frustrated with it enough, that frustration will either overshadow, or it will.
I get it. I get that. Yeah.
Something. So
I
may go
get
back
that.
to it at some point, but what I did, what I painted with it, I did not find it enjoyable enough for me to keep trying to maintain it. I might, but not right now.
I don't know if I would consider what I do with my airbrush to be enjoyable, but goddamn, I can.
But you use it a lot, so
5 hours.
Well, but see, no, you might not find it enjoyable, but you do it so fast that it doesn't matter if you enjoy it.
Exactly. But it didn't start off that way. I've got 3 airbrushes. I'm on my 3rd airbrush. I've ruined 2 already. But I finally figured out what I was doing wrong. It took a while, but I finally figured out what I was doing wrong. I figured out that I didn't need to replace the airbrushes. I could replace parts inside of it. And I'm still on my 3rd airbrush.
Yeah.
And I've been using it for 2 years, and it took me that long. I've been only a couple months ago am I to the point where I've not had a clog and I can clean it quickly. And I've been doing it for 2 years, and I've used it on all the last customs for the last 2 years. So that's almost 100 customs.
Wow.
It took that long for me to figure out what I was doing.
Yeah.
It did not start off that easy. It was not an easy start for me either, but I stuck with it, and holy shit, I can get a lot done. And I can paint with yellow, orange, and white now, which is fantastic. I no longer fear those colors.
No, because
they look nice.
They're a nightmare. They are a nightmare. Red and yellow, for instance, to paint with the brush, but with the right paint, the right primer, and an airbrush. Yeah, it's easy. Yeah. I took the plunge because I have this. So I have this guy who 3D prints a lot of models for me, and he 3D printed this huge dinosaur of 70 centimeters. I'm not sure how much inches that is, but it's big. It's 35 inches, I think. It's
I think that's pretty close.
Big. And I was like, okay, I love the model, but I'm not going to paint that by hand. So I have to take the plunge for the airbrush.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. But I see a lot of uses for it for some G.I. Joe customs as well. For instance, making these intricate camo patterns where you can just mask certain things and get very neat stripes, for instance, very straight.
Because I just saw somebody do some really awesome Python Patrol customs, and I'm like, I've never done a Python Patrol custom, and I really like.
That's what I was thinking about as well. Just put on the red as a base layer, and then just some pieces of masking tape to get the grid on it with the airbrush, and you're done. I
wish I'd saved the picture.
That's exactly what I was thinking about.
The figures that he chose were really cool. I'm like, I'm not a big fan of the sub teams. I never have been, but the color schemes. I mean, he did an Alley Viper. I think he did a Night Viper. He had 4 or 5 of them, and they were. I'm like, oh man, I really like those, because it was the deep maroon and the gray and the gold, and it's like, oh yeah, that is really nice. And I'm like, I could do that with an airbrush.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, and you can do with a brush what you can do with an airbrush, but well, it takes a lot more time. If you want to make certain transitions, basing, man, it takes so long. It can be done, but it takes so long. So yeah.
And some of that stuff I don't know. I don't know how to do some of that stuff with the brush. It's like
yeah. Well, and that's that. I never planned on painting a Warhammer. I was totally into making customs, G.I. Joe customs, and then this friend of mine who was playing D&D, she told me, well, you like to paint small things. Would you like to paint my D&D miniature? I was, I would like to try. Well, so I started searching on YouTube for how to paint minis, and then I watched more and more videos just to up my painting game, to use on my G.I. Joe customs. And well, then with my ADHD and my dopamine addiction of some sort, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I discovered the dinosaurs, and I was like, holy crap, dinosaurs riding dinosaurs! How freaking cool is that? That's why I do that a lot. But I start to miss the GI Joe customs as well. And as I said, I did a lot of hats. I like to convert the modern style hats, which are way more detailed than the O-ring heads to fit an O-ring body, and I do that a lot. I think I made 15 hats or something last year. So yeah, I like doing that. I like using green stuff and other putties to make details.
I'm not very good at sculpting.
But every
was better at.
Yeah. Well, but like I said before, I didn't start with those techniques. I just started with using this permanent marker to repaint Dr. Mindbender's eyebrows, and then I noticed, hey, this has got a blue shine on it. I don't want that, so I went to the hobby shop and I bought my first pot of black paints. And 3 months later, I had this huge collection of paint and a painting station and different brushes and stuff like that. Because ADHD, I gotta have it all. I gotta have it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, then
I know all about it.
Yeah, gotta love it. But that's how I started using that, and the more you discover, and the more I watched videos, and I was thinking about, hey, I want to change this, or I want to add some details. What can I do? And well, I find many things, many techniques people use in the Warhammer community to put details on. I stole some ideas from model train builders, diorama builders.
That's a good idea. Those guys do some crazy detailed work.
To implement those in the customs and stuff like that. And I was never afraid to combine modern and O-ring style as well to get a great result for stuff like that. And I like to use the animals from Schleich or Papo as companion animals and like that. So just experiment and learn. And every tool has its learning curve, and every technique has its learning curve, and you have to practice and do it more to get better at it. So yeah.
Well, one of our, gosh, I don't remember who it was that suggested using a wet palette to paint with. Was that
Jim Godfrey?
Yeah, Jim Godfrey. It was Jim Godfrey. That's how I paint now.
I got two. Yeah.
Me too. I like.
So I got two, and I backed I got two already, and I backed the latest Kickstarter of Redgrass with their version 2 of the wet palette. So I have those
I haven't seen that.
on the way.
Wait, a Kickstarter for wet palette paints? How does that work? I didn't realize there were.
No, for wet palettes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like what? I didn't realize that there was somebody making that kind of stuff. I make my own. I have a couple.
You make your own wet
Make
palettes.
a mess.
Yeah. No, I got the stuff fine. No, I got the original wet palette.
Oh my God! I didn't realize there was a kit for this.
I didn't either.
What is it? That is
this is a dried out sponge then, but this is an original. It's from Redgrass. It's the company that makes.
Do me a favor, send me a link to that, because we're gonna post that because I want to check this out. This is cool. I didn't realize that.
Okay.
Here's my wet palette.
Those are old, but those are old things. Those are old things that I steal from the Warhammer community and implement in my my work as well. So because why not? It's painting plastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it's that big or this big, it doesn't matter. So I got loads of brushes as well, because so I like to try. I like to try everything, and I am fortunate enough that I don't have kids, so I also have the money to buy brushes and to try them and stuff like that. Yeah, well, I'm just like, hey, so if someone says this and this works, you use makeup brushes for dry brushing, I just go to the pharmacy and I buy a load of makeup brushes and just start screwing around. And
that's not a bad idea.
I like that.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, no, that is.
Yeah,
because I need a new dry brushing brush.
Yeah. But I also have the expensive Artist Opus kits, which come in neat.
Wow.
And custom made for me and stuff like that. So I have versions and the more expensive version, and I just like to compare them and try them and just so see whatever whatever works.
All right, well, that's just impressive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's that's how I spent my time. And then the hobby got even bigger when I started filming and making those videos. So
I'm definitely gonna have to check out
a moment here. Yeah, very nice.
All right, I think we're at like an hour and a half now, aren't we?
Yeah, something like that.
It is.
All right. So
well, hang on. Before we go, Yuri, I need you to say you're listening to the General Geekery podcast in Dutch.
I have to say, sorry?
Say you're listening to the General Geekery podcast in Dutch.
Oké. Ik luister altijd naar de General Geekery podcast.
All right, that works for me. I love it.
Yeah.
No, Yuri, thank you for coming on the show with me. I wanted an excuse to actually have a conversation other than just following you on,
and thank you for asking me. I had so I was very excited, and I was talking about it for weeks to my wife and my friends who were willing to listen. I got invited for a podcast. And stuff. So thank you very much for
absolutely.
Me. And well, let's do this another time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes,
I like it a lot.
Absolutely. So as
I'd like to have you back on the show. So thank you.
So as always, please do that fun social media stuff. Like, share, subscribe, comment below, and take a look at the show notes because we will have information on Yuri's Instagram page, YouTube page, and his Facebook page. And I am definitely going to check out a lot of those videos because I'm always up for learning painting techniques. So as always,
thank you.
Thanks for watching and stay tuned because we've always got more planned.